All the World's a Stage was created and performed on the unceded territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. We acknowledge the privilege and responsibility we carry as young artists that live, work, and play on these irreplaceable and unparalleled lands.
All the world's a stage, and all the people in it merely players.
They have their exits and their entrances, and each one in their time plays many parts, the acts being 7 ages.
At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the mother's arms.
Then the whining schoolchild, with a satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school.
And then the lover, sighing like furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow.
Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel.
And then the justice, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part.
The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose, their tired voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in the sound.
Last scene of all that ends this strange eventful history is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
If you cannot understand my argument and declare it's Greek to me, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you claim to be more sinned against than sinning, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you recall your salad days, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you act more in sorrow than in anger, if your wish is father to the thought.
If your lost property has vanished into thin air, you are quoting Shakespeare.
If you have ever refused to budge an inch or suffered from green-eyed jealousy.
If you have played fast and loose.
If you have been tongue-tied.
A tower of strength, hoodwinked or in a pickle.
If you have knitted your brows and made a virtue of necessity.
Insist on fair play, slept not one wink.
Stood on ceremony, danced attendance on your lord and master.
Laughed yourself into stitches.
Had short shrift, cold comfort, or too much of a good thing.
If you have seen better days or lived in a fool's paradise.
Why, be that as it may, the more fool you!
For it is a foregone conclusion that you are,
as good luck would have it,
quoting Shakespeare.
If you think it is early days and clear out bag and baggage.
if you think it is high time, and that is the long and short of it.
If you believe that the game is up and that truth will out, even if it involves your own flesh and blood.
If you lie low till the crack of doom because you suspect foul play.
If you have your teeth set on edge.
At one fell swoop.
Without rhyme or reason.
Then, to give the devil his due.
If the truth were known.
For surely you have a tongue in your head.
You are quoting Shakespeare.
Even if you bid me good riddance and send me packing.
If you wish I was as dead as a doornail.
If you think I am an eyesore.
A laughing stock.
The devil incarnate.
A stony-hearted villain.
Bloody-minded.
Or a blinking idiot.
Then by Jove.
Oh, Lord.
Tut, tut.
For goodness sake.
What the dickens?
But me no buts.
It's all one to me.
For
You are quoting Shakespeare.
Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of your players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines. Nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently. For in the very torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance that may give it smoothness. Be not too tame neither, but let your own discretion be your tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action, with this special observance, that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature. For anything so overdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at first and now, was and is to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time his form and pressure. Go make you ready.
Over hill, over dale.
Thorough bush, thorough briar.
Over park, over path.
Thorough flood, thorough fire.
We do wander everywhere.
Sphere.
To do her orbs upon the green, we do serve the fairy queen.
Cowslips tall her pensioners be.
In her gold coat spots you see.
Those be rubies, fairy favors.
In their gold
In those freckles live their savers.
I must go seek some dewdrops here.
Hang a pearl in every cowslip's ear.
Either I mistake your shape in making quite,
Or else you are that shrewd and knavish sprite called Robin Goodfellow.
Are not you he?
Thou speakest aright. I am that merry wanderer of the night. I jest to Oberon and make him smile, when I a fat and bean-fed horse beguile, neighing in likeness of a very foal. And sometime lurk I in a gossip's bowl, in the very likeness of a roasted crab, and when she drinks against her lips, I do bob, and on her withered dewlap pour the ale. The wisest aunt, telling the saddest tale, sometime for a 3-foot stool mistaketh me. Then slip I from her bum, and down topples she. And Taylor cries and falls into a cough, and the whole choir hold their hips, and laugh, and wax in their mirth, and sneeze and swear never a merrier hour was wasted there. But room fairy, here comes Oberon.
Nor heaven nor earth have been at peace tonight.
Whoever knew the heavens menace so?
Are not you moved when all the sway of earth shakes like a thing unfirm?
It is the part of men to fear and tremble, when the most mighty gods by token send such dreadful heralds to astonish us.
I have seen tempests when the scolding winds have rived the naughty oaks.
And I have seen the ambitious ocean swell and rage and foam to in clouds.
But never till tonight, never till now did I go for a tempest-dropping fire.
Either there is a civil strife in heaven, or else the world, too saucy with the gods, incenses them to send destruction.
Here's a night pities neither wise men nor fool.
Indeed, it is a strange disposed time.
Here's neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all, and another storm brewing. I hear it sing in the wind, yon same black cloud, yon huge one. Looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. If it should thunder as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same cloud cannot choose but to fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man, or a fish? Dead, or alive? A fish. Oh, smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. A kind of, not of the newest, poor John. A strange fish. Were I in England now, as I once was, and had but this fish painted, not a holiday fool there would give but a piece of silver. There, this monster makes a man. Any strange beast there makes a man. Legged like a man and his fins like arms. Warm. Oh, my troth! I do not let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. This is no fish, but an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm has come again. My best way is to creep under his gabardine. There's no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows.
You are three men of sin, destiny that hath to instrument this lower world and what is in it. The never surfeited sea hath caused to belch up you. And on this island where man doth not inhabit, you mongst men being most unfit to live, I have made you mad. And even with such like valor men hang and drown their proper selves. You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate. The elements of whom your swords are tempered may as well wound the loud winds, or with be-mocked at stabs kill the still closing waters, as diminish one dowel that's in my plume. My fellow ministers are like invulnerable. If you could hurt, your swords are now too massy for your strengths, and will not be uplifted. But remember, for that's my business to you, that you three from Millen did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath requited him and his innocent child, for which foul deed the powers, delaying, not forgetting, have incensed the seas and shores, yea, all the creatures against your peace. Thee of thy son, Alonso, they have bereft, and do pronounce by me lingering perdition, worse than any death can be at once, shall step by step attend you and your ways, whose wraths to guard you from, which here in this most desolate isle else falls upon your heads, is nothing but heart's sorrow, and a clear life ensuing.
about. All ill come in, all good keep out.
Fair is foul, and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air.
Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw.
Double, double, toil and trouble. Fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Billet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake.
Eye of newt and foot and toe of rock, wool of bat and tongue of dog.
There's fork and blind worm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing.
For a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble.
Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes.
The regent conquers, and the Frenchmen fly. Now help, ye charming spells and periaps, and ye choice spirits that admonish me, and give me signs of future accidents. You speedy helpers that are substitutes under the lordly monarch of the north, appear and aid me in this enterprise. This speedy and quick appearance argues proof of your accustomed diligence to me. Now, ye familiar spirits that are called out of the powerful regions under earth, help me this once, that France may get the field. Hold me not with silence over long, where I was wont to feed you with my blood. I'll lop a member off and give it to you in earnest of further benefit, so you do condescend to help me now. No hope to have redress? My body shall pay recompense, if you will grant my suit. Cannot my body nor blood sacrifice entreat you to your wanted furtherance? Then take my soul, my body, soul, and all, before that England give the French the foil. See, they forsake me. Now the time is come that France must veil her lofted plume crest and let her head fall into England's lap. My ancient incantations too weak, and tell too strong for me to buckle with. Now, France, thy glory droopeth to the dust.
Welcome to What's the News with Thee, your definitive and comprehensive news source for everything Shakespearean.
Our top story, a tragedy is currently unfolding at Elsinore Castle in Denmark, where police are reporting the discovery of multiple bodies. The investigation is centering around one of the only survivors found at the scene, Horatio. As he was being taken away by police for questioning, he had this to say.
Let me speak to the yet unknowing world. How these things came about, so shall you hear, of carnal, bloody, and unnatural acts, of accidental judgments and casual slaughter, and deaths put on by cunning and forced cause.
Something is definitely rotten in the state of Denmark.
So it seems. In other tragic news, a nobleman from the Sicilian court is reported deceased after an apparent bear attack in Bohemia. Details are still sketchy at the moment, including a mistaken report that his party had sailed to the landlocked country. According to a young local shepherd, the nobleman Antigonus, or Tigger as he was known by those close to him, had apparently exited the scene pursued by this bear.
A good reminder to all of us to make noise when hiking in the countryside.
Indeed, put on those bear bells.
In lighter and stranger news, missing man Nick Bottom has been found, wandering the forest after apparently being turned into a donkey. Disoriented and covered in flowered garlands, the first words he uttered to those who found him were the cryptic, hee-haw, fairy queen. It's thought that the strange transformation could be an allergic reaction to eating forest mushrooms. His friends, founders of the Where's Our Bottom searching party, reported that they were just happy to have their bottom back, safe and sound. May the story bring hope to any of those missing their own bottom in this trying time.
Keeping with the forest theme, people living near the castle Benzanane have reported some strange sights. Amateur video has emerged of Burnham Woods apparently slowly advancing towards the castle located there. Some believe this to be related to reports of witchcraft in the area, while others have pointed to 3 unidentified people spotted near the scene, described as weird, withered, and wild in their attire.
Now, a quick check-in on the weather. A little bit of everything, really. Some areas will be experiencing a rather fair trend, while others will be stuck with the foul weather we've been experiencing recently. Fair, foul, foul, fair. Lots of fog and even some filthy air.
Breaking news. Roman dictator Julius Caesar has been assassinated. Details are still beginning to emerge, but we have received this amateur video of Roman general Marcus Antonius, moments after discovering the body of his leader and friend.
Oh, pardon me, thou fleeting piece of earth, that I am meek and gentle with these butchers. Thou art the ruins of the noblest man that ever lived in the tide of times. Woe the hand that sheds this costly blood. Over thy wounds now do I prophesy, which like dumb mouths do ope their ruby lips, to beg the voice and utterance of my tongue. A curse shall light upon the limbs of men. Domestic fury and fierce civil strife shall cumber all the parts of Italy. Blood and destruction shall be so in use, and dreadful objects so familiar, that mothers shall but smile when they behold their infants quartered with the hands of war. All pity choked with customs of foul deeds. Caesar's spirit, ranging for revenge, with Ate by his side, come hot from hell, and shall in these confines with a monarch's voice cry havoc, and let slip the dogs of war, that this foul deed shall smell above the earth, with carrion men groaning for burial.
What's the News with Thee has obtained an exclusive interview with the purported leader of the assassination conspiracy, Marcus Brutus. We go live to the forum, where he will apparently try to explain the reasons this action was deemed necessary.
Romance, countrymen, and lovers, hear me for my cause, and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for my honor, and have respect to my honor that you may believe. Censure me in your wisdom, and awake your senses that you may the better judge. If there be any in the assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar were no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I love Caesar less, but that I love Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living, to die all slaves, than that Caesar were dead, to live all free men? As Caesar loved me, I weep for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. There is tear for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Who is here so base that will be a bondman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that will not be a roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for reply.
And that's all for this edition of What's the News with Thee. Stay tuned for the ever-popular comedy show, My Kingdom for a Joke.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to our bookstore. How may I help you?
I'm looking for a play by Shakespeare.
Certainly. Which one?
William.
Did you know that Shakespeare once made an entire performance about puns? It was a play on words.
Didn't you know that William Shakespeare died on the same day he was born?
Wow, he must have been a fast writer.
Shakespeare and the Beatles walk into a bar. The bartender says, "Sorry, sir, you're barred, and those other guys are banned."
How do you know that Hamlet couldn't spell rabbit?
We didn't know if there were two B's or not two B's.
Did you hear about the new brand of Shakespearean toilet paper? Butt Soft.
I heard two kids having an argument about Shakespeare. One of them was yelling about Macbeth, the other was yelling about Hamlet. I thought it was Much Ado About Nothing.
Class was all about Shakespeare. Tomorrow, it's all about his poetry. Things are going from bard to verse.
A man in Australia took a train to the town of Mercy, where he heard there was a coffee shop that served drinks named after Australian animals. When he arrived, he decided to try the koala tea. He received his order quickly, which turned out to basically be a cup of hot water with whole eucalyptus leaves. The man asked the barista, "Excuse me, there seems to be a lot of loose leaves in my tea." The barista replied, "Yes, sir, the koala tea of Mercy is not strained."
The quality of mercy is not strained. It droppeth as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath. It is twice blessed. It blesseth him that gives and him that takes. 'Tis mightiest in the mightiest it becomes, the throned monarch better than his crown. His scepter shows the force of temporal power, the attribute to awe and majesty wherein doth sit the dread and fear of kings. But mercy is above the sceptred sway, it is enthroned in the hearts of kings. It is an attribute to God himself. And earthly power doth then show like as God's, when mercy seasons justice. Therefore, though justice be thy plea, consider this, that in the course of justice none of us should see salvation. We do pray for mercy, and that same prayer doth teach us all to render the deeds of mercy. I've spoken thus much to mitigate the justice of thy plea, which if thou follow, this strict court of Venice must needs give sentence against the merchant there.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Will Shakespeare.
Will Shakespeare who?
Will Shakespeare. Or just stand there holding one, as long as I get to be on stage.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Shelley.
Shelley who?
Shall we compare thee to a summer's day?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Wherefore means...
Wherefore mean too.
No! Wherefore means why? How many times do we have to go over this?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Hal.
Hal who?
How long till Henry IV dies and I get to be king?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Rosaline.
Rosaline who?
Yeah, that's what Romeo said as soon as he saw Juliet.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
At
who?
At who, Brute? Then fall, Caesar!
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Toby.
Toby who?
Wait, sorry, not Toby.
Make up your mind. Who's there?
Toby or not Toby? That is the question.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Cordelia.
Cordelia who?
Oh, real nice, Dad. I come all the way from France with an army to rescue you, and that's the welcome I get?
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Lloyd.
Lloyd who?
Lloyd, what fools these mortals be.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Helena.
Helena who?
Helena Handbasket is where this world seems to be going.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Hamlet.
Hamlet who?
Hamlet the dog south. Whoa, 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 whoa.
All the kind of wances have this very fault. I've received by proportion like the prodigious sun, and am going with Sir Proteus to the imperial court. I think Crab, my dog, be the sourest natured dog that lives. My mother weeping, my father wailing, my sister crying, our maid howling, our cat wringing her hands, and all our house in a great perplexity. Yet did not this cruel-hearted cur shed one tear. He is a stone, a very pebble stone, and has no more pity in him than a dog. Why, my grandam, having no eyes, look you, wept herself blind at my parting. Nay, I'll show you the manner of it. This shoe is my father. No, this left shoe is my father. No, this left shoe is my mother. Nay, that cannot be so neither. Yes, it is so, it is so. This shoe with the hole in it is my mother, and this my father. A vengeance on it! There it is. Now, sir, this staff is my sister, for look you, she is as white as a lily and as small as a wand. This hat is Nan, our maid. I am the dog. No, the dog is himself, and I am the dog. Oh, the dog is me, and I am myself. I. So. Now come I to my father. Father, your blessing. Now should not the shoe speak a word for weeping? Now should I kiss my father? While he weeps on. Now come I to my mother. Oh, that she could speak now like a woodwoman while I kiss her. Why, there it is. Here's my mother's breath, up and down. Now come I to my sister. Mark the moan she makes. Oh. Now the dog. Come on, Crab. All this while sheds not a tear nor speaks a word. But see how I lay the dust with my tears.
When we are born, we cry that we are come to this great stage of fools.
Oh, I am fortune's fool.
He does walk above the orb like the sun. It shines everywhere.
For so they say the fool, and so say I, and I the fool.
Is not this a rare fellow? He's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
Better a witty fool than a foolish wit.
I will vouch for thee. Thou art both knave and fool.
You think we have fools in hand?
I have not you by the hand.
Now in thy likeness, one more fool appear.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
Aye, now am I on Zoom, the more fool I.
'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children.
Go to, thou art a witty fool.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
The dullness of the fool is the whetstone of the wits.
Go to, thou art a dry fool.
If the dry fool drink, then is the dry fool not dry?
God, give them wisdom that have it, and those that are fools, let them use their talents.
I am as well in my wits. Fool thou art.
But as well? Then you are mad indeed if you be no better in your wits than a fool.
I had rather be any kind of thing than a fool.
I had rather a fool to make me merry than experience make me sad.
The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.
A fool. A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool. Miserable world. And as I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms. In good, set terms. And yet, a motley fool. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he. Call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with a lackluster eye, says very wisely, It is 10 o'clock. Thus may we see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so, from hour to hour, we ripe and ripe. And so, from hour to hour, we rot and rot. And thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on the time, my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative. And I did laugh, sans intermission, an hour by his dial. O noble fool! A worthy fool! Motley's the only wear. Now our charms are all o'erthrown, and what strength we have is our own, which is most faint.
Now release us from our bands with the help of your good hands.
Gentle breath of yours, our sails must fill, or else our project fails, which was to please.
Now is the time of night that the church paths, all gaping wide, and everyone lets forth his sprite in the churchway paths to glide.
And we fairies that do run by the triple Hecate's team, from the presence of the sun following darkness like a dream, now our frolic.
Through the house give glimmering lights by the dead, drowsy fire.
Every elf and fairy sprite hop as light as bird from briar.
Now until the break of day, through this house each fairy stray.
Trip away, make no stay. Meet me all by break of day.
If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended.
That you have but slumbered here, while these visions did appear.
And this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream.
Gentles, do not reprehend.
If you pardon, we will mend.
And as I am an honest puck,
if we have unearned luck, now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long.
Else the puck a liar call. So good night unto you all.
Give us your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore